there. You're watching Debrief on CNN News 18. I'm Maha Siddiqui. The big news today, the fully India-made COVID-19 vaccine Covaxin has been granted WHO approval. While this is a shot in the arm for the country, it will also mean more trust in the vaccine. This is hugely important at a time India is trying to increase its vaccination coverage. With the country again seeing the daily COVID numbers rising and concerns that it could worsen during the festive season, the need of the hour is people take the jab. This is no time to be complacent. The fight against the wily and tenacious novel coronavirus will continue to be tough till there is a serious fight back from all quarters. So why was this approval from the World Health Organization for Covaxin much awaited? Let's take a look at the significance of this approval by the WHO for Covaxin. First of all, it is going to make travel certainly easier for those who've got a Covaxin jab. But much before that, the listing gives global recognition to the vaccine, and that is why it will mean easier travel for people as well as the export that Bharat Biotech wants to do for the vaccine globally. It will be more acceptable to many other countries since it now has the seal of the World Health Organization. This is some important significance of the vaccine, and those who've taken 2 jabs of the vaccine but were awaiting for countries to recognize them and allow them inside their borders without a quarantine, that will also be easier now. It will enable hassle-free travel for those who have a Covaxin double shot. Meanwhile, it will help counter vaccine hesitancy as well. India is desperately now trying to increase the vaccine coverage, and certainly this is going to be very helpful in that direction. Let me now go across to our reporter Runjhun Sharma, who's joining us with more details on this. Runjhun, why did it first of all take so long for Covaxin's approval by the World Health Organization?
Look, Maha, it is a very long bureaucratic process, but also very meticulous. So one detailed miss and it's a query or additional data or a clarification from the World Health Organization is sent back to the company and Bharat Biotech in this case. But also, importantly, the WHO makes sure that they don't want to cut any corners. They want to fully analyze the data at hand. Also, even in WHO, the World Health Organization, there are several quarters that look at an approval of the vaccine. For example, SAGE, the Strategic Advisory Group of Experts on Immunization, first they make policy recommendations after analyzing data as far as efficacy, immunogenicity, clinical trials, even good manufacturing processes of a company. But then it's the Technical Advisory Group, it's an independent group under the World Health Organization, Maha, that provides a license or a emergency use listing to, of course, a particular vaccine, and that also is a long process because every member of that team will meticulously look at the data provided. One will look at the clinical trial data, one will look at the immunogenicity data, the efficacy data, and one miss. For example, in October last week, when the Technical Advisory Group had sat and deliberated on the data, they'd sought more additional data from Bharat Biotech, particularly on immunogenicity of 60+ population, as well as a split, a gender divide on efficacy as well as immunogenicity. Okay. So, which is why there's been a bit of back and forth. Yes, it's taken time, but finally, of course, Covaxin becomes the 8th vaccine in the world to get an emergency use listing with the World Health Organization, and Covaxin there now at the global map. Maha.
Yes, absolutely. Many thanks, Runjhun, for getting us those details, because a lot of people had questions about the process of the World Health Organization and how it does emergency use listing. Let's move on now. It's been stressed enough number of times that the immunity through vaccines comes only 2 weeks after the second dose. However, in India, the second dose for over 11 crore citizens is overdue. After the deadly second wave, as the COVID infections declined, people got complacent and haven't taken their second jab. But what's important to remember is that pandemics come in waves, and to avert a repeat of the horror that the country went through mid this year, full vaccination is the only solution. A review meeting by the Prime Minister today on vaccine coverage looked at ways and means to rapidly increase vaccinations.
A fortnight ago, India reached a major vaccine milestone, one which the world thought we would never achieve. 1 billion vaccine doses. But as the celebrations died down, came another mammoth but sobering number. 11 crore. That's as many second doses that are pending because their recipients are still yet to turn up on time. It's a statistic that often gets hidden in the sheer numbers of our vaccination drive. While over 78% of the eligible population has been inoculated with at least one dose, only 35% is protected with both doses, leaving the vast majority of our population susceptible to a third dose. At the current rate, it will take us over 8 months to fully vaccinate our adult population. Enter again the Prime Minister. Barely hours after he touched down from a grueling trip of Europe, Prime Minister Modi was back at work, holding a key COVID review meeting. Attending the meeting were the DMs of 40 districts, which have seen low coverage of vaccines, especially the second dose. Also in attendance were the chief ministers of these 12 states: Maharashtra, Delhi, Tamil Nadu, Haryana, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, and most of the northeast. While thanking the states, the bureaucracy, and the healthcare workers for working in cohesion to make India's vaccine juggernaut roll, the Prime Minister emphasized on the need to finish the job.
1 बिलियन के बाद अगर हम थोड़े से भी ढीले पड़ गए तो नई संकट आ सकता है। हम हर गांव में भी मोहल्ला, उसमें भी वो 4 घर बाकी रह गए तो 4 घर, बारीकी की तरह हम जितना जाएंगे हम परिणाम प्राप्त करेंगे। हर घर दस्तक, इसी मंत्र के साथ हर उस घर में दस्तक दी जाएगी जहां अभी तक दोनों टीके का संपूर्ण सुरक्षा कवच नहीं मिला।
The message was clear. The war is not over until every eligible Indian is fully vaccinated.
1 बिलियन डोज के बाद दिवाली मनाने का उमंग आया है। हम नए लक्ष्यांक पार करके क्रिसमस को उमंग से मनाएं, इस मिजाज के साथ आगे बढ़ना है।
Bureau Report, CNN News 18.
Meanwhile, it's a bumper Diwali for shopkeepers in Delhi NCR. After a lull of 2 years, shoppers have returned in droves, some with masks, but many without masks. Nikhil Lakhwani does a check in some of Delhi's busiest markets, Lajpat Nagar, Sarojini Nagar and Sadar Bazaar, to find out what the crowd makes it impossible, in fact, to ensure social distancing, and that government's assurance of ensuring COVID-appropriate behavior has simply gone for a toss.
Days before the festival of Diwali, unprecedented rush is seen in different prominent markets of national capital. On one side, it is going to boost the economy. On another, surge in COVID cases. We are saying so because the experts believe human behavior is the deciding factor in COVID wave.
Lajpat, Sarojini, Sadar, Chandni Chowk, you name the market, and images like these are irregular this festival season. The shopkeepers are ecstatic, but health keepers watch the situation unfold nervously.
We do sanitize our shop every day, and the mask is available for the customers if they don't carry the mask. Sanitize their hands, and temperature is already doing on the proper basis. It's not like, okay, leave it for today, but we are doing every day. So market is to prepare for this.
आपने देखा होगा 2 साल कितने परेशान थे, अब बड़ा व्यापार अच्छा है, विकास की ओर हम जा रहे हैं, सभी खरीद कस्टमर आ रहे हैं, मास्क लगा के आ रहे हैं, वो भी कोरोना के नियमों का पालन कर रहे हैं।
The Delhi government had promised enforcement of COVID-appropriate behavior and shut down if norms were violated. But our camera caught shopper after shopper wearing the mask inappropriately or not wearing it at all. When we asked Neeti at Lajpat Nagar market in Delhi about her mask,
wearing a mask is one of that. I'm sorry, I cannot hold it too long because I have a problem of breathing. So I cannot hold it. But yes, you have to carry the mask. Now the vaccination, everybody is vaccinated. So they are taking certain precautions. We are also carrying, that sanitizer wherever we are going. So we are carrying that. But yes, meanwhile it is going on.
I do see markets are prepared, but not all markets. But I do see some good stores, they are prepared. They are taking the necessary precautions. So mask, sanitization, that I'm seeing around. But not everybody can afford all sorts of precautions as well. So that is there.
Neighbouring Noida did not paint a rosy picture either.
These are the visuals we are bringing you from the Atta side of the market. Now this is one of the prominent market in the Noida district, and clearly you can see people are thronging the market. They are flouting the norms laid by the government, laid by the administration. Nobody is wearing their masks properly, and this is the situation similar in every part of the Delhi NCR.
Most shoppers and shopkeepers display COVID fatigue, having stayed indoors for close to 2 years. Adding to the lowering of the guard is the fact that Delhi has only seen 4 deaths in the month of October, and 75% of eligible Delhiites have been vaccinated at least once.
100 करोड़ लोगों को वैक्सीन लग चुकी है। दिल्ली में भी काफ़ी हद तक लोगों को लग चुकी है। अभी सीरो रेट भी आया, वो 90% है। इसलिए लोग थोड़ा बेफिक्र हो गए हैं, अच्छी बात है।
Experts, however, say that the virus, with its capacity to mutate, is unpredictable. It is human behavior that will decide if the worst is over or an invitation is being extended to the third wave.
Many people have even started ignoring the COVID norms and are not following the COVID appropriate behavior. It increases the chances of transmission. As we have seen after Dashera and Durga Puja, there was a rise in number of cases in Bengal. Although the numbers were relatively low, but it shows that new people have been infected.
Last year, after the festival of Diwali, India recorded more than 30% jump in the new COVID cases. This year, if the similar situation to last year persists, then we all know who is to be blamed. With camera person Ramashankar, Nikhil Lakhwani for CNN, News 18.
Let's do a quick check this evening of how people are behaving while they are out on the streets in the markets. Arun Dhanta is joining us from the INA market in Delhi. Anshul Singh is joining us from Sarojini Nagar. And Herman Gomes is joining us from the Crawford market in Mumbai. Arun, coming first to you, amidst the festive fervour, are people at least now, since they know that the numbers are already going up, trying to adhere to COVID-appropriate behaviour around you? Just show us around.
Well, Maha, first of all, these coming 2 to 3 days are going to be very, very crucial, and people are on a massive shopping spree here at INA market. Let me quickly show you a glimpse around that how the COVID appropriate behavior is being thrown to the wind. You can see there are few people who have just witnessed our presence here, and therefore they started wearing masks. Let me take you to some other areas where people might not be aware of our presence. There you will find the real picture as to how these COVID appropriate behavior is completely not being followed. This is the inner part of the INA market, which is quite populated. You can see that how social distancing is not there. There are very few people which can be seen wearing masks. Other than that, majority of them can be very easily seen without masks, and some of them have masks on their mouth but not on the nose. But we should not forget the fact that we have not completely gotten rid of this virus. We still have a large chunk of us not fully vaccinated, and therefore the problem starts. So these things which we ourselves need to understand, we have to also show some responsibility. Not only the government's responsibility, but people at large will also behave in a manner in which they will protect themselves, and along with that others who are around them. So this is something which we are witnessing at this moment before Diwali here at the INA market.
Absolutely, Arun. And what we are seeing around you is rather ironical, because most people seem to have a mask, but it's on their chin rather than covering their mouth and nose. Let me go across to Herman Gomes for a quick check in Mumbai now. Herman, if we talk about the entire state, the vaccination per day in Maharashtra has slipped even as the festive season is here. Is it mere complacency? What's the sense that you get?
Well, I think Mumbaikars are yet to learn their lessons, Maha. I mean, South Mumbai is the famous Crawford Market, which incidentally is just 500 meters away from the BMC office. You can look at, in fact, here the totally crowded scenes. This is a market where which sells everything and anything, beginning from clothes to poultry to food items as well as home appliances. What you can see is that people are not wearing their mask, even if they have a mask like this gentleman here. It is beneath their chin or beneath their nostrils. Besides that, the entire norm of maintaining COVID appropriate behavior also goes for a toss. You can see how crowded they are totally. Some of them are in fact even seen not wearing the mask. in certain cases, Maha, ever since we've been, standing for the broadcast, what I can tell you is that certain people have also been lowering their mask and then they start coughing and then they put up their mask once again. Totally, as far as you can see here, some people are not seen wearing a mask. Besides that, you also have certain sort of people, the minute they see the camera, that is when they decide to wear their mask properly. So clearly, and this coming at a time when Mumbai today has recorded 319 deaths. And, another interesting fact that besides the fact that we're almost like 500 meters away from the BMC headquarters, no sort of marshals that can be seen today here, which are in fact have been given the power to penalize people who are not wearing masks.
All right, let me do a quick check back of Delhi now. Anshul is with us. Anshul, is there any system of having marshals like Herman is pointing out in Mumbai to ensure that people wear their masks? And what are market associations doing to ensure that both shoppers as well as shopkeepers try to follow COVID-appropriate behavior?
That's right, Maha, that's right. I'll try and talk to the chairperson of Sarojini Nagar Market Association in a few minutes. But before that, I'd like to show you the current visuals that we are seeing right here, right now. I'll try and move out of the frame and show you that there is still a huge number of crowd that is present here. But yes, the visuals speak for themselves, and there is definitely an improvement from what we saw for the past 2-3 days, where there was blatant violation of COVID norms in this area. But yes, this evening we can say that there is definitely some improvement in that. People are wearing their masks, but definitely things like social distancing cannot exist in a place like Sarojini Nagar. So I'll try and talk to the chairperson of Sarojini Nagar Market Association, and we'll try and find out what are the steps that have been taken by him as of now to make sure that COVID protocol norms are being followed. Sir, सबसे पहले ये बताइए क्या स्टेप्स उठाए आप लोगों ने अभी कि कोविड प्रोटोकॉल फॉलो?
देखो, हमने सबको बोला बिना मास्क के कोई मार्केट नहीं आएगा, 2 गज की दूरी, मास्क जरूरी। आप देख रहे हैं हजारों के हिसाब से लोग आ रहे हैं क्योंकि सबने वैक्सीन लगवा ली है, पर कोरोना खत्म नहीं है। हमें सावधानी रखनी है, त्योहार मनाइए, दिवाली आपके लिए मंगलमय हो। दिल्ली पुलिस यहाँ 78 सीसी कैमरे हैं, हर जगह हर पॉइंट पे पूरी मॉनिटरिंग हो रही है। सबसे बोला है लावारी चीजों को हाथ नहीं लगाए, दुकानदारों के।
ये सब तो देखिए, ये सब हमने इतने दिनों से देख रहे हैं, विजुअल्स आपने भी देखे, हमने भी देखे क्या हालत हुई है सरोजिनी नगर की। इससे पहले जब ऐसे विजुअल्स देखे गए थे तब होली का टाइम था, और होली के बाद हमने देखा देश में क्या हालत हुई, सेकंड वेव आया। तो क्या अभी इसके बाद भी आशंका हो सकती है कि थर्ड वेव भी आए, क्योंकि जिस तरह की भीड़ हमने देखी?
हम नहीं आने देंगे, हम कोरोना के नियमों का पालन करेंगे। बिना मास्क के कोई मार्केट नहीं आता, उसे हम बाहर कर देते हैं। और 2000 के जबकि जुर्माना भी हो रहा है, आपने देखा होगा, दिल्ली पुलिस, सिविल डिफेंस सभी कर रहे हैं। अभी एसडीएम ने भी मुआयना करा, ज्वाइंट सीपी साहब ने मुआयना करा।
बट उसका फर्क तो दिख नहीं रहा, हमने देखा है नगर की क्या।
बिल्कुल, ये दिवाली का समय है सर, त्योहार है। आज के बाद कल से बिल्कुल नॉर्मल हो जाएगा, परसों से बिल्कुल रश कम हो जाएगा। वैसे ही व्यापारी बड़ी मुश्किल से 2 साल बाद लौटी है जिंदगी पटरी पे। आज ये थोड़ा रौनक देखने को मिली है। ये हम तो सभी से अपील ही कर सकते हैं कि मास्क लगाइए, बिना मास्क के मार्केट ना आइए। हम उसको सामान भी नहीं देते जिसके
प्रशासन से कोई अपील करना चाहेंगे थोड़ी और सख्ती बरती जाए?
बिल्कुल, हम प्रशासन से उम्मीद करेंगे कि जल्दी से जल्दी सबको वैक्सीन लगे। जैसे हमने अभी हमने पूरे भारतीयों को वैक्सीन लग गई है। भारत की वैक्सीन बहुत अच्छी है। मैं धन्यवाद करूंगा वैज्ञानिकों और डॉक्टरों को। विदेशों में इतनी अच्छी वैक्सीन नहीं है जितनी अच्छी हमारे भारत की है, और हम विकास की ओर जा रहे हैं। आगे देश को और आगे ले जाएंगे और कोरोना के नियमों का पालन करेंगे।
So that's the word, as you heard there, Maha, that precautions are being taken. But yes, I also got a chance to talk to a few people, and there's a new term that is coming, that is vaccination overconfidence. So we have seen people, I tried to talk to them and they were arguing back that we are fully vaccinated. The Zero survey results are out. In the past few months, the COVID rate in Delhi has gone down. But yes, these are the points that they are making, but definitely they refuse to agree to the point that this virus is very intelligent and is mutating and could harm all over, do the same thing that it did a few months ago all over again. So it remains to be seen if the people who have violated the norms this time can actually get a sense of where the truth lies and actually have some sense and follow the COVID protocols in such crucial markets and places where the rate of spread.
Very rightly said there. Anshul, Arun and Herman, all three of you, many thanks for joining us with all those details about what people are doing during the festive season as far as taking precautions with regards to COVID-19 is concerned. And it does appear that people have thrown caution to the wind. Taking a very quick break now. COVID fear coupled with bad, rather toxic air in the national capital. It's a double whammy. More details in a bit. Stay with us. Welcome back. A significant population in Europe is inoculated against COVID-19 and yet it's seeing fresh waves. That is the worry that health experts have for India as well. Post-Diwali, what's worrying experts even more is that the air pollution could worsen the situation with COVID infections, which also attacks the lungs. Ritanshu with more details.
First, the good news. If you live in the national capital, you breathed better this October than you did in the last 4 years. Thanks to record-breaking rainfall, the average air quality in October this year was 173, much less than the 265 in 2020, 234 in 2019, and 264 in 2018. Now, the bad news. In November, it's been getting worse, much worse. On the eve of Diwali, the air quality index entered the red zone for the first time this year, meaning very poor. Look at some of the figures at just 1 p.m. Bhavana was at 337, Nehru Nagar at 334, Jahangirpur at 342. The satellite towns aren't much better either. Noida is at 334 and Ghaziabad at 309.
The air quality index in the national capital Delhi has crossed the level of 300, which stands in the very poor category. And this is before the festival of Diwali. So after the burning of crackers, the experts are expecting that the AQI in the national capital Delhi is expected to cross the level of 500.
Residents of NCR have little hope of things improving, with Diwali likely to see several violations of the cracker ban and stubble burning in neighboring states continuing unabated.
This red area is where stubble burning is really represented. This is the area of Punjab, Haryana. Both these areas combined show you how Punjab, Haryana is literally in the red, and this is just in the neighborhood of the national capital.
And now for the really ugly part. Continuous exposure to Delhi's deadly polluted air dramatically increases your risk of contracting chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. And the weaker you are, the more vulnerable you are to the coronavirus. In fact, according to a study by researchers at the Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology, the COVID-19 virus may have piggybacked on black carbon to trigger Delhi's third wave in November last year. Black carbon is a major constituent of the soot that hangs in the air due to stubble burning. The study found a tenfold increase in infection counts to a peak of 8,500 new cases in Delhi during November 2020. Simply put, if Delhiites are not careful in the coming few days, the air they breathe can literally kill them. Ritanshu Bhattacharya for CNN News 18.
So do enjoy Diwali, but be responsible. Our health depends on it. That's it for today. See you again soon. Bye-bye.